Okay, good morning. We'll call the JWB Finance Committee meeting to order. Thursday, August 24th, 9 a.m. Our first item is the action item to approve the FY24 budget changes. And Beth Houghton, our Chief Executive Officer, and Diana Caro.
I'm going to throw most of it over to Diana, but just from the perspective of where we are in the budget flow and in the budget schedule, you have approved a budget in July, or the board has approved a budget in July and approved the millage that has gone out in your trim notices. Many of you have gotten your trim notices recently. And I don't know how many of you have gulped, but it depends on whether you've bought a new house or not, probably, or sticking with the 3% cap. But property values have gone up quite a bit, which we thoroughly expected. So the purpose of this meeting really is to look at changes in the budget, not the millage, but the budget since we came to you in July, so that this group, the Finance Committee, has put their eyes on those changes before we go to the board in September for both the trim meetings, and then at the September 6th board meeting, we will ask the board to affirm or ratify what you all do at this board meeting relative to the budget itself. With that, if it's okay, I'll hand it over to Diana.
Yes, good morning. Well, Beth covered most of what I was going to cover as far as the background. But so I'll just say that, yes, subsequent to the last board meeting, there have been some nominal changes that have been made to that preliminary budget, which is what you guys are taking action to approve today. And those changes are detailed in the attachment to your memo that you have before you, and they total a $71,446 increase in revenue and a $77,749 increase in expenditures. And those changes have increased the total budget amount to $158,024,611. And I'm available, or Beth is, for any questions.
Take a vote. Take that back.
I move approval of action item 2A.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now on to section 3, discussion of the monthly financial and investment reports. And that is Lynn.
Good morning. Included in your packet, you have the June financial statements. Looking at the balance sheet, you see that JWB has a healthy balance sheet. We have fiscal year 23 right now in cash and investments. We have $90,830,861. On our statement of revenue and expenditures, we have an increase in this year over last year in total revenue of $8,831,881. We have increases in both property tax revenue and interest revenue. Interest revenue, we've done really quite well this year. As you can see, we've got $2.8 million this year compared to $374,000 year-to-date last year. So it's a $2.8 million increase. And our program expenditures, we have year-to-date, we have $45 million compared to we have $44 million compared to $5.5 million last year, so we have a difference of $38.6 million. The next page included in the package are some graphs. The top two graphs show the both revenue and expenditures as compared from this fiscal year to last fiscal year. And as you can see in both revenue and expenditures, what those look like. The graph underneath that is our admin budget, and that's budget to actual. And as you can see, each of our departments or each of our groups, our CEO group, CFO group, et cetera, are all under budget year to date. The next page are contracts that we signed and any budget transfers that we've done. So we've done just two budget transfers this month in June, and as well as only 2 contracts were signed this month. The last page of the financials are the investments, and as you can see, we have $90.8 million in cash and investments. For the month, we had $374,000 in interest, and as you can see, again, year-to-date, we have like $2.9 million in interest. So we've done quite well with interest as compared to previous years. And that's it, sorry.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Lynn? Okay.
And if any of you can predict what interest rates are gonna do, you wouldn't,
amazing.
you wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, we're moving on to the Chief Executive Officer report.
As a reminder, our trim hearings will be held September 6th and at 5:15 here at JWB. And then the second one will be on the September 20th, also at 5:15 here at JWB. We'll be presenting the proposed 23 tentative millage rate and the fiscal year tentative budget on September 6th, then adopt the final rate and the budget on September 20th. We think we are in good shape for quorum on the 6th, but it's a little iffy for the 20th. So I just urge you, begging seems a little low, but anyway, urge you to arrange your calendar so that you can be here. And I think everybody who's present here today has confirmed for both meetings. So I appreciate that very much. I know you all have busy schedules.
And I believe we need to have a super majority, right, because of the way we're changing the millage rate.
We do. We need present in the room and positive votes of 8 for supermajority for the .8250 that has been what you all have workshopped and approved and wanted to see. So that's, it's not an increase, but it's not enough of a decrease that a simple majority will suffice. I always have to look at Diana and say, did I say that reasonably enough? Yeah, it's, those terms are interesting. So thank you again for your expected attendance at both of those. Summer has been a very busy time for JWB in a whole variety of ways, some of them public and open, and others people quietly at their desks or working at home, getting an amazing amount of work done. As you know from my recent mid-month report to the board, I gave you some examples of some of the community events, conferences, and other things. Some of those include JWB staff was not just present but presented at the 2023 Florida Public Health Association Annual Conference and at the statewide Child Abuse Death Review Annual Summit. We've just got some extraordinary people here who are expert at what they do and are sought after at these kinds of conferences, and we should all be proud of them. Can you remind us who the two folks were? Okay, that's what I thought. Jomar Lopez and Rebecca Albert, presented each of those that I just mentioned, and they're just 2 of our many stars. The summer book bus gave away about 10,000 books to kids across the county in support of our grade level reading campaign. We reached more than 3,000 kids with much needed supplies at various and sundry back to school community events. We cut the ribbon to celebrate the R Club Happy Workers Early Learning Academy, and Mr. McCurrick joined me there, and it was hot, but it was but it was a joyous day. And again, that facility and that program that we cut the ribbon for is for serving children birth to 3, which I know is near and dear to the hearts of our board members here. I would also add that that a lot of the summer outreach programs that we were able to attend, you would see our Turbo Baby sign and collaterals and materials, and so it was just another opportunity to spread that message about how important brain development is for babies 0 to 3, and some of the practical things that parents can do, that busy parents can do to help their kids' brain development. At the September meeting, you'll see pictures and a fuller presentation of our summer outreach. I've mentioned to you before JWB data systems, where we have been experiencing issues with our 2 provider data systems that we use for our funded agency financial management. One is called Amplifund, that deals primarily with processing budgets and reimbursements, and accepts financial information, and the other is participant management, and that system is Apricot. And there is a promising option that is used by many of the children's service councils called WebAuthors Flex Enterprise, and it is a platform upon which we can build these 2 systems as well as a number of other systems that would serve us. And one of the comments we've received, I'm shifting gears a little bit, one of the comments we've received from our consultant relative to our procurement process and making all of that smoother has been, gee, you guys have a lot of systems, and it would be more efficient if you had systems that talk to each other and or were on the same platform. And so depending on when we're able to get the contract negotiated, we hope we'll come back to you in September with a contract for WebAuthor. If we can't come to terms with them, it might be a month later, but obviously on the one hand, we want to hurry, on the other hand, we want a good contract with them. So we look forward to bringing that to the board in September or October. We have a number of things that we're planning in the next few months. The focused faith-based symposium on September 28th at Annona United Methodist Church will center on the role that faith-based and social service communities play in a post-pandemic Pinellas County, and resources will be shared on topics like domestic violence, behavioral health, and homelessness, and we'll participate in that. The annual out of school time conference titled The Power of You will be held on September 29th, and this will be a hybrid professional development conference for an estimated 600 JWB funded agency out of school time staff, focused on building skills to support youth mental health as well as self-care for OST workers or out of school time workers. And that's a group that doesn't get a lot of professional development, and yet they're really important to so many hours in kids' day. So that's one of the things we've tried to do, if not every year that COVID didn't get in the way. On October 7th, the JWB Children's Mental Health Initiative will join New Vision Behavioral Health and other partners for the 5th Annual Mental Health Youth Empowerment Summit at Eckerd College, and that event will focus on engaging youth and families in conversations and activities for mental wellness, healthy family dynamics, and more. So we've got a lot that we've just been doing, and we've got a lot that coming up. The other thing I would mention is that we have 2 new board members, and Kristen Nage and Melissa Rutland will be joining us September 6th. Yes, it's on their calendar. That was almost the first question I asked them when I first called to welcome them to the JWB board is, are you free on September 6th and September 20th? And for both of them, the answer was yes. We've, just this week, we've had orientations with each of them, and I would say they're both really excited about joining JWB, very energetic. Each have backgrounds that are helpful in one way or the other. Kristen Nage works for the state attorney's office, and the focus of her work actually, there's somebody down here who knows her well, right? The focus of her work is in Judge Moore's court, in the dependency area, and it's very clear that kids are near and dear to her heart. And Melissa Rutland is a real estate professional who's lived in St. Petersburg all her life. I think her family goes back 4 generations. So Pinellas County has always been important to her, and she has served the community in a variety of ways. They each fill out a Form 1 for one reason or another, so that tells you something about the fact that they've each been engaged. Either Kristen in her work environment has to do that, and Melissa Rutland serves on a St. Petersburg commission, and therefore is in that realm. So things like sunshine law and public records are not altogether new to either of them. Kristen has been immersed in children's issues, and Melissa not as much. So, you know, they will each bring a lot. And I don't know if anybody else who helped orient them would want to comment, or Colleen?
No, I think they're both seem great. They both have a lot of experience already with the issues that we face with public records and conflicts and sunshine meetings. And I also think Kristen's experience, along with Judge Moore's, is, you know, a perspective we haven't necessarily had on the board, other than coming from the judge, so that'll be great. And I thought I also, like Beth, made sure to get them here September 6th, September 20th. I asked them if they could promise me so I didn't lose sleep those 2 weeks, and they both have said that they will be here.
That's a good sign. That's a good start. That's right.
And agreed, we have a conference, and so after Beth called me, I was like, and so does Christian, but I can come late, but you might need to ask her boss if she could go late, and it worked out.
So that's all I have, unless there are questions.
Okay, awesome. Any questions for Beth? All right, seeing none. Open agenda, do we have any public input? Seeing none. All right, we will move to adjourn our meeting. Thank you.